Namaste friends, my name is AmitGarg. Welcome to my channel Ganesha-Hanuman.com. Today we'll talk about the month of December. Very interesting month, lots of planets in their own signs. So we'll do a separate video for each sign, each Rashi. And see, this video will be applicable for both whether you're ARIES Lagna or ARIES Rashi, that means moon sign. So whether your rising sign is Aries or your moon sign is Aries, this applies to both. It's just that if the moon sign is Aries, then you'll feel the effects more at a mental level than the rising Aries. But the Gochar, the transit chart will remain the same. So we'll see the chart in a bit. So the effects will be, it also depends. Some people see if their Lagna is stronger than the Rashi, then they see the transits from Lagna. If your moon is stronger than the Lagna, then you see the transits from your Rashi, that is the moon sign. That's another method of looking at it. But in general, the results will apply to both Lagna or Rashi. That means rising sign is Aries or your moon sign is Aries. So let's get started. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And for consultations and readings, you can go to my website, Ganesha-Hanuman.com. All right. So this is what's happening for the sign of, for the Aries rising people. So this is the chart. Number one sign is Aries. So you might have your rising sign as Aries or moon sign as Aries. So which is Lagna versus Rashi. So Aries sign, ruled by Mars, right? So Mars, it's a very like a headstrong Lagna or Rashi. So Aries rising people or Aries Rashi people, they tend to take action very quickly and they're very fast. And so the Lagna Lord is sitting in the 8th house. So let me show you. So this is Aries rising, right? So number one sign is Aries. And your Lagna Lord, which is Mars, is sitting in the 8th house, okay? It's sitting in the 8th house with Sun, which is the 5th house ruler. And if you look at this chart, a lot of planets are in their own Rashi. So Saturn in its Mool Trikona sign, Aquarius, Venus in its own sign, Libra, and Mars sitting in own sign, Scorpio, right? So the Lagna Lord is sitting in own sign, Scorpio, in the 8th house. Now, Mars is there with Sun also. First of all, one caution for Aries rising or Aries Rashi people is drive carefully. Do not do rash driving or careless driving because 8th house has a lot of Pitta, Sun and Mars there in the 8th house. So be careful with any kind of, accidents or things like that. So, and that's true for not just like physical things, but also, as I mentioned, do not make or take decisions very fast. Okay, so think through anything. Let's say you have an idea in your mind. Think about it, let it sit in your mind. Just contemplate on that for a while before you take action, because Mars is action. It just wants to act, but you need to think about it before you think thoroughly of all the consequences, okay? Now, a good thing is you have Jupiter sitting in your Lagna, okay? Jupiter in Lagna is like the blessing of the gurus. Jupiter in Lagna takes away, they say that it takes away 1,000 blemishes in the chart, right? So that's really good. And sitting in Lagna, Jupiter is aspecting your 5th house and your 9th house. So aspecting Mercury also. Okay. So a lot of good things, strong planets in this chart: Saturn, Venus, Mars, and then Jupiter, although it's retrograde, but still it has a positive influence on the 5th house and the 9th house and overall chart as well in general. Now, if you look at 7th house, Venus in Libra in a Kendra is, the pillars, the 1st, 4th, 7th, 8th. These are the 4 houses that are the Kendra houses. Venus is creating a Malavya yoga. That's the Mahapurush yoga. Malavya Yoga is formed when Venus is sitting in any of the 4 houses in the Kendra and it's in his own sign. Okay, so that means it gives immense power to that planet. So whatever it represents, whichever houses it rules, those get a boost. So you have a Mahapurush Yoga created by the transiting planets for you, for Aries Rashi people. Okay. Then, of course, Saturn, Mula Trikona sign. And then, so a couple of things. One is these placements will be there most of the months, except that one thing is Mercury will become retrograde on 12th of December. Okay, so for about second half of the month, Mercury will be retrograde. Second thing, Sun will be transiting over to Sagittarius on 16th of December. So we'll talk about that, the results in the first half versus the second half. And Venus will be there until 24th of December. So then it'll go to Scorpio. And then Mercury will be in Sagittarius and then turns retrograde on 12th. And then it actually enters Scorpio on 27th. Okay. So that's the full picture. Now, first of all, you see which house has, a lot going on. So you have 8th house has Sun and Mars. That means the focus will be on the 8th house matters, but wherever Sun goes, so this is one rule, wherever Sun goes, wherever Sun sits, that house gets illuminated. Sun is the light of the universe, right? So that means there may be some secrets that might be revealed because 8th houses are secrets. But this is a very, very powerful combination for you to dive deep into any of the spiritual subjects, learn spirituality, like any spiritual occult sciences like Jyotish, Yoga, Ayurveda. And then, of course, there are trines to Rahu. Okay, Rahu in the 12th house. Rahu in the 12th house gives you access to the other planes of existence. So this is a very, very powerful month for you to probably start some of your esoteric subjects, or if you're already studying, go deep dive, like really, really go deep in your studies. Saturn and Mars will help you. All this Pitta energy, all this fire energy will help. Think of it as very sharp intellect. Okay. Then we have, so Sun is also the 5th house ruler. Okay, so 5th house ruler in the 8th house. That may mean some kind of change, transformation in your love life, in your romance. Okay, but that could also mean that you could do like some kind of spiritual cleansing, spiritual transformation with your partner. So maybe your lover, your romantic partner, you both could do some spiritual studies together. Okay. 5th house is also children. So that's first half of the month. For children also, excellent time to introduce them to spirituality, or if they already are into it, help them do things with them. And that's an excellent time. Now, stay away from any speculative risks like, stock market, things like that, because 5th house ruler in the 8th house, not that great for taking any unnecessary risks, especially in the stock market. Okay. And then next we have Saturn in the Mula Trikona sign. So wonderful time, very, very powerful time for your career. The 10th Lord is sitting in the 11th house. So that means gains from your profession. And Saturn in Mula Trikona sign, that means purely, Mula Trikona means business. Any planet in its Mula Trikona sign means business, meaning it wants to give you results. There's no wasting time. There's no it's there to give you concrete results and benefits. Okay, so 10th house ruler in the 11th house, excellent placement for gains, financial gains from your profession. Saturn in the 11th house, this is good for you to it'll help you narrow down your desires. If there are, expansive planets like Jupiter or Rahu here in the 11th house, that may mean person will have like expansive desires. But Saturn in 11th house, really good for you to focus on your specific, very meaningful desires. Saturn in 11th house also, it'll probably introduce you to some very mature friends. It means you'll not waste time on social media, but you'll develop concrete long-term friendships with people who mean business, who are very serious, serious as in they are not like superficial friendships. Okay. Now, we have, so that is the profession and the 11th house. Now, 11th house ruler also in the 11th house, right? So excellent for finances also. And then the second house ruler, Venus, is in trines to Saturn. So anytime the planets in trines, they always impact each other because it's the same direction and it's the same tattva, same element, right? So this is the air element. Venus and Saturn are trines to each other. So the second lord and the 11th lord are aspecting each other. So they are in trines to each other. And so good for money, good for finances. Okay. Rahu in the 12th house. Excellent time to develop contacts with foreigners, even foreign travel. And as I mentioned earlier, all sorts of esoteric sciences, energy healing, clairvoyance, all of that. Be careful about any expenses you may encounter. Like you may have a tendency to show off or your money, or just do expenses that are not needed. So a good remedy for that is do some donation voluntarily. Okay, so that in a way you're parting away from your money, right? So donation means you're giving away something, but voluntarily, which is good. So that's in a way could be considered as an expense. Okay. And then Venus in the 7th house, as I mentioned, beautiful Malavya yoga. So that means a great time for relationships. Okay. You'll do Venusian things together. It'll lead to like doing fine, refined things in your relationship. You could do art, music, dance, cooking together, gourmet food, or even healing, because Venus is Shukra. Shukra Acharya was the only one who had the Vidya of Sanjeevani, so to bring the dead people back to life. So it's very good planet for healing. So all of those things, you may do things with your partner, and that includes both one-on-one, the personal partnerships as well as business partnerships. Now, one thing, the 7th house has a Papa Kartari. There are malefics on either side, so there may be some stress. So it's not going to be all like bed of roses, but you can work on it if you're spiritually oriented, because Ketu and Sun and Mars, these are all helping you, be within your limits. Okay, do things that matter for the long term. Okay, so that's the overall picture. Now, once Sun moves over to the 9th house, which is on December 16th. So until December 16th, your 8th house is lit up, right? So you have a lot of change and transformation, but for spiritual purposes, and also some secrets might be revealed. Second half of the month, Sun will be actually in your 9th house in Sagittarius. And so that is, again, it may give some name and fame to your father. 9th house represents our father. Or it may actually introduce you to some more exalted gurus. And so it's good. Sun is good in the 9th house, especially in the sign of Jupiter, Sagittarius. Okay, and it'll be trines to Jupiter. So Jupiter will be aspecting this as well. Now, the other thing is, so Mercury, when it goes retrograde, so then you need to be careful with your communication and things like that, because Mercury is also your 6th house ruler and your 3rd house ruler. 3rd house, anyway, represents our communication skills. So when Mercury goes retrograde after 12th of December, be careful, especially with your communication and things happening. Okay, so that's the overall picture. So lots of these things you see here, wonderful placements. One, couple of things need to be careful about is the relationships have a Papa Kartari, but also, as I mentioned, be careful driving. Take good care of your health. Ketu in the 6th house will give you opportunity to go deep and like do cleansing at a very deep level, not just like superficial, take a pill, or just the Western medicine, but do meditation, do healing, cleansing, natural healing, things like that. So focus on that, and do a lot of volunteer work, especially for ascetics, for spiritual people, helping the priests and things like that. That's a wonderful remedy for Ketu in the 6th house. Now, other big remedy overall, excellent remedy for Aries rising is because Mars and Sun in the 8th house, and Mars is also the Lagna Lord, okay, or you can say the Rashi Swami if you're looking at the Aries Rashi. So Narsimha Mantra, which is specifically Narsimha, the deity for Mars, and Hanuman Puja, Hanuman Chalisa, all of that, especially on Tuesdays, will be excellent remedy overall for Aries rising. And that's true in general, always for Aries, but especially now in the month of December when Mars is going to be in the 8th house. So that's the overall picture for the month of December and for Aries rising. So we'll see you in the next video for Taurus rising. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching.